Hey there, it's Kristen, and I've got a couple of requests to do a how-to on making my magazine paper dolls. And so I just wanted to do a kind of quick run through of how I make these. So first of all, let me just kind of introduce you to them. You'll see that I've used brad, so they have moving parts. They're actually pretty large. I have a mixed media notebook journal right now, and I think it's 11 by 14, so you can see it's, she doesn't even fit in the whole screen, so she's really about that same size. But you can see I have them in different sizes. That's one. This is one. What I do like is for the head to be a little disproportionate, although this one looks kind of proportionate. But again, you can see the head moves, the arms move, and with this one, I actually attached the legs down here. And for this one, it's just the head and the legs that move. She's like really big. So let me show you some more of these. And, but again, like this is kind of an example. I like the misproportions of them. This one has the head that moves and then the legs. This one, the arm moves. The arms move and the legs move. And the head also moves as well. These two, you'll notice that I added some doodling as well. So with this one, I just added a little bit of doodling around, her dress. And for this one, this was actually a black top that it was actually a larger photo, so it was just a black top, and I turned it into a whole dress, added some doodles, and doodled over her sunglasses as well. So these are done in Frankenstyle. So what that means is that the head, the arms, in this case the arms and the body go together, but in many cases the arms, the legs, the torso, the head, they're all from separate photos. So they're not from the same photo. And this one, so this is probably the best example. So the head, the arms, the body with the dress, and the legs are from 4 different images. And it's just really fun to put these together. If you've been following me for a while, you know I make poppets, magical poppets, and I use them for all sorts of divination, manifestation. And really with these, for me, number one, anytime that you make something, it's always a reflection of yourself. And when you're making a doll or something like this, it's really easy to see yourself, or rather your alter ego, kind of as it's represented as you create it. Because I could take the same pieces, the same parts, and you might assemble them in a completely different way to create a whole different doll and a whole different personality than I would. And to me, that's showing a reflection of who you are. And to me, it's also kind of like who you want to be, who you see as your cheerleaders. So for me, these women are kind of tough and badass, that's what I see in them. And they're very kind of spiritual. They're doing a lot of things that I like to do. Like this one looks like she's dancing. So I really see these as my magical support squad. And I have taken these dolls and just strung them along my altar, so which really sits behind me at my desk. So it's kind of like having a little spiritual support team cheering you on. So I'm going to show you how I make these. The first thing is to start with a magazine. And I've been using fashion magazines, like Vogue is a really good one. I've gone through so many of my magazines, I don't even have a full magazine anymore. So I'm just going to show you some parts of this one. But basically I take a magazine and I go through it and I'm looking for certain things, because remember I need head, I need torso, I need arms, and I need legs. So I'm really just looking for images that are going to give me that. When I look through a magazine, I'm really looking for like fashion layouts like these. I prefer for them not to be in black and white, but I could probably cut out just the jacket here, and that would look really nice. For this one, I might use her head, but I like to have the full head. And this particular one, you can see her head is cut off at the top. So this magazine I've already gone through, but I like to go through them a couple times. There might be things that I missed. I really like dynamic photos, like that show energy and movement. So what I might do with this one is actually cut everything out, in terms of the body, and then just add a head and some legs later. So you're really just looking for pieces. You don't have to take the whole photo. And sometimes the body or some parts that you might want are kind of blocked. Sometimes there's almost too much clothes, but it just depends on whether you can get the silhouette that you're looking for. So like I said, I've kind of gone through this magazine already, but there's still some good stuff that I might be able to find. So let me show you some that I've already cut out for different reasons. So for this one, I'm thinking I could probably use the arms and maybe the head. So I just cut those areas out. On this one, I probably use just the skirt. It's very hard to find great photos of legs, so I might cut those legs out. With this one, I would probably use just, she's wearing a long dress, but I would really just shorten the dress to here, and probably leave the arms off. So you don't have to take the, think of everything separately. So I would really just I would cut here. Okay, so I would just have really the silhouette of the dress. But for this one, I would probably keep in the arms as well. So some photos I keep the arms in and some I don't. It just depends on what the photograph looks like. This one might be great just to have this big bow and, just kind of the main part of the dress, but just kind of this top part, and then add arms and some sort of pants or dress to it. For this one, I would, even though she's turned the opposite way, I think this would still make a really nice dress. In this image, I would be looking at just the this coat, for example. This one I think would be great for just the arms, because it's hard to get an image with just the arms very clear. So you just go through the magazine photos like that, and again, think about everything in pieces. This is also good if you find some images with just clothing. You can always take just the clothes and add like arms, the head, and everything to it. So once you have that, the next step is putting them all together. So I'm just gonna show you. I do categorize them now because they get kind of you get a lot of things. So right now I have a face pile, I have a hand, an arm pile, and a leg pile. And then I have kind of a main pile of different things that would be dresses, torsos, things like that, tops and bottoms. And this just helps me to sort everything out because I've been collecting so many different things. So sometimes I'll start with the head, or sometimes I'll start with the top. And I've already kind of put some of these, looked at some of these, so I'm just gonna lay them out in a way that makes sense for me. But you just try on different heads. You just kind of mix and match things together. Right now, I'm just looking to see what might work. What looks a little, you know, I like it to look a little weird, but not too weird. I want it to look kind of like a real doll. And you're just, you know, putting things together that you think might look fun together. This top is too big, so I might use that one. And probably her head there. And then I could use her head there. Maybe with the boots. And I just look to see what it looks like to me. If it doesn't look right, I just find something else. I think it would probably work better with these. That kind of looks like fun, but I like her head on it better. And this is always just, you know, what do you like? You know, it's always about what do you like? What makes sense to you? And, you know, that's really how you should be making your dolls. And you'll just get a feeling for it. You'll be like, oh, yeah, I like that. Once I figure out what I like, you know, what I want to assemble together, I cut everything out. And I'm just moving these over. I cut everything out. And I glue it onto cardstock. So this is just regular cardstock, and I just use regular glue stick to glue these on. And I put the whole doll on one sheet. You see I've added some doodles to this, to her top and to the hat. I've added a few doodles to this one. And then I just cut everything out on the cardstock. That just makes it a little bit thicker. So once it's cut out, then I just assemble all of the pieces. Just move this really quickly. And I'm gonna just grab this one just to show you. You can see that there are brads. I've got one brad here, one here and here. And if you're not familiar with brads, they just, you can just pull them out, and take things apart, and put them together. So the really fun thing is, I said these are Frankenstyle. You can take the head from one and put it on to another one if you decide you want to change that out. And I just usually poke a hole. No, I don't know where my stuff is. Hold on. Let's see. Oh, here it is. I usually poke the holes with this. So I would just line it up where I want it, and then just use this and poke the hole. This is just so that it won't go through, you know, your paper or anything, and it just helps, you know, it just makes it easier. You can put a piece of foam core or just a piece of, you know, fabric or something like this underneath of it. And then add your brad. Put it on this other side, and then turn it over and secure it. And you just do the same for the other parts that you want to secure as well. You'll see for all of the parts I have a circle. I don't really like a squared off edge. For me, some reason I just like to have them rounded, these rounded edges. But pretty much, you know, on the back, you're not really going to see the back anyway. So you just assemble it, and that's how you would do a magazine paper doll. So I hope that helps you guys see, you know, how easy it is. It does take a little patience. There is some, you know, work with scissors and cutting and gluing, but to me, I spend the most part just figuring out what pieces I want to go together to make an ensemble, to make a Frankenstyle paper doll. And so once that's done, it's pretty easy to put the rest together. So enjoy.